When locked up, you're going to hear things and see things that's going to have you questioning life. You're going to see men lose their sanity and sometimes their humanity. However, there are some rare occasions when a certain type of human being that is larger than life that hit the yard and changed the whole atmosphere for the better or worse. Here's the story of Flaming Nelson. Nelson was one of them guys, aka a boy, that was playing for the other side. This cat was super flamed up to the max times 10. He the type that you would catch sashaying and voguing. You know the type, extra loud, extra colorful. Always gotta be seen. See, we had another boy in the pod by the name of Todd. He was the conservative type of that type. He was a more respectable type compared to Nelson. Now on the compound, Nelson's name rung bells throughout that community. His name stayed in drama. This was a messy dude. But one day after serving 2 months in the hole, Nelson would find himself relocated to our pod. At this time, we had 2-man cells, and the only openness that was available was this white old racist dude in this crib by the name of Tyrone, aka Kansas City. As y'all can imagine, when they tried to put Nelson in there with the crib, it was met with extreme pushback. Here's the scene, y'all.
Inmate, cuff up.
So when you are getting a new cellmate, you must cuff up, meaning get handcuffs put on you. And you must stand with your back to the cell while your new cellmate comes in. So Tyrone gets up and get cuffed up. He can't see his new cellmate at this time, but he can sure hear him. So now Tyrone is at the back of the cell when Nelson steps in. Tyrone glances over his shoulder, and when he see Nelson, he like, oh, hell no. No, he can't come up in here, man. That's not gonna happen on crib. The sergeant was like, what you mean he can't come up in here? See, y'all, let me tell y'all something. When you belong in an organization, in a prison that does not condone homosexuality, you can and will be violated by your gang. So Tyrone, knowing the politics, he know under no circumstances Nelson can come up in this cell on crib. So the sergeant like, man, you don't run nothing up in here. Tyrone like, hey, listen, no disrespect, Sarge, but I'm telling you, he can't come in here. You already know that. Don't play at me like that. Sergeant like, hey, you need to turn around and mind your business. He coming up in here. You don't run nothing up in here. So Tyrone turned all the way around and he like, listen, Sarge, I told you already. I'm not playing. Why would you want to play with me like that? He ain't coming up in here. If he come in here, I'm going to bust him in the mouth. And y'all going to have to just take me to the hole. So Sarge like, so you going to put your hands on him? Is that what you telling me? He like, I'm just saying, man, he can't come up in here, man. Why y'all playing games like that? Y'all know he can't come up in here on crib. Nelson standing there with his back against the wall like, man, if he don't want me up in here, I ain't got to be up in here. I ain't got to be up here. Y'all can put me somewhere else. I ain't asked to be in here. So the sergeant like, nah, he about to go. I'm about to put him in the hole. Tyrone like, man, I ain't tripping, man. Just go ahead and take me. I'm not standing here, man. So the sergeant like, come on, let's go. So Tyrone walk on up out of there and they grab him and they take him on out of there. So as the sergeant walking him out, the captain come and he like, hold on, what's going on? Sergeant like, he's causing issues, he's causing problems. He said if Nelson come up in his cell, he's going to do this and he's going to do that to him. So the captain like, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. See, our captain, he was no nonsense. He was square, strict business. If he say he gonna lock you down for a certain amount of time, he gonna lock you down for that certain amount of time. So he told Tyrone like, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you go to the hole, you stand in the box for 12 months, period. Tyrone like, man, you can't do that. Captain walked up to him, he said, try me. He like, man, come on, Cap. Come on, Cap, man, you can't do that to me, man. You know how this goes up in here. Captain like, look, I'm not trying to hear that. Y'all grown men. He's coming in that cell. If you touch him, you go into the box for 12 months. I don't care about none of that politics up in here. This my house. This is not your house. This is my house. Now get back in that cell. So Tyrone like, man, I can only imagine what's going on in Tyrone's head at this point in time. Tyrone thinking like, man, I don't want to go to the box. You can't go to the store and get commissary. You can't get on the phone. All your visits get canceled. You're done. So he like, all right, man, whatever, man, whatever. So he turns around. He go back in the cell. They uncuff him. They uncuff Nelson. And they get in there. So when the captain left, it was shift change. So Tyrone got up on the bars and was hollering at the new captain that came in for that shift. And he was like, look, I can't be in here. I'm not trying to cause no problem. I'm not trying to cause no trouble. This new captain that came in, he was cool. He understood the politics. So the captain heard him out. And he said, I'm going to bring somebody else up in here. Nelson, come on out. So he took Nelson down to the day room. He ended up putting Nelson in the room with the old racist white man. I couldn't really hear nothing, so I guess it was a smooth transition. So we're going to just move on to the next day because there wasn't no action going on that night. Now the pod rules pertaining to the showers is that you go to the shower fully clothed. You get undressed in the shower, wash up, put your drawers on, put your sweatpants on, put a shirt on, and go back to your cell. At minimum, the COs will give you a write-up if you get caught walking with the shirt off. So keep that in mind, y'all. It's about 9 guys. We in the day room playing hood Monopoly. Now the old man cell is on the second tier, last cell to the left. So I kind of seen Nelson coming this way at the corner of my eye, but I really wasn't paying too much attention to him. So I'm rolling the dice and I hear, man, what the fuck going on, man? So I'm like, huh? Now let me tell y'all something. In our pod, it's always something going on. It's always some type of drama. It's always some type of violation. It's always some type of larceny. Something is always going on in our pod. So it wasn't unusual to hear commotion going on. But at this particular time, you just hear dudes hollering. You hear dudes hooting. Dudes like, man, go put some clothes on. You hear people just going crazy, going nuts. So I'm looking around like, man, what's going on? Here comes Nelson coming through. I hate to paint the scene for y'all, but I got to, man. I got to paint the scene. Nelson. Okay, picture this. Picture a skinny black dude with tidy whities on. No shirt, no pants. He got these tidy whities on and he got them rolled up, right? His butt cheeks is hanging out and his D print is right there. He caused a riot up in there. I'm talking about dudes screaming, dudes hollering, man, go put some clothes on, man. Man, I'll beat your ass. All this and that. Nelson just keep on walking. His butt cheeks hanging out. His manhood is dang near exposed. We had this Asian guard, right? This dude just thought he was so funny. He right there in the control booth with a big smile on his face. He thought it was cute. So Nelson just go straight to the shower and do what he do. I know a lot of y'all like, man, I would have went over there and put hands and feet on Nelson. Well, this was Nelson's defense. He would go around telling cats that he had that you know what. So cats was real reluctant to put them hands on Nelson because they didn't want to contract that you know what, if y'all get what I mean. So that really kept dudes up off of Nelson because they was afraid of getting that package. But just to let everybody know, Nelson didn't have that package. Remember earlier in the story, I told y'all there was another guy in there by the name of Todd that was like that too? Well, he over there by the control booth just shaking his head in shame like, man, he give us a bad name. Reason why we gets no respect in here, man. After about 5 minutes, he come out sashaying out of the shower with his t-shirt and his panties on. Man, we men in here, man. Cut that out. Other cats in there yelling out vulgar things and threats to Mr. Fruit Roll Up. Next part I'm about to tell y'all, no cap. When Nelson get to the staircase, I promise y'all, he did a little twirl and he dropped down and did the splits. The whole pod erupted in chaos. Dudes were screaming down on him. Man, it got crazy up in there. This Tutti Frutti done did the splits. Now remember I told y'all his cellie was a white racist old man. Now he's standing there watching all this unfold. So as Nelson make his way up the stairs and go towards the cell, the old man standing there like, no, you're not, you can't come in here. You ain't coming in here. You ain't coming in here. You cannot come in here. You are not coming in here. Nelson like, you better get out my way. And before I do this and do that, the old man like, you're not coming here. You cannot come in here. You're not coming in here. At this particular time, because it was so much movement and chaos going on in the pod because of what Nelson did, the guard in the control booth called for backup. When backup came, they came about 15 deep because they didn't know what was going on. They just seen us in there hollering, hooting, and running around the pod. So they locked all of us down so they could start their investigation. Nelson and the old man was still out their cell arguing back and forth. The captain was like, why are you dressed like that? He told Nelson, get your clothes on and cuff up. You're going to the hole. Nelson like, I ain't going nowhere. I'm tired of y'all discriminating against me. I ain't did nothing. I just went to the shower. I can't help that these dudes don't know what they like, if they want a man or woman. That ain't my fault. So the sergeant was like, look, I'm not going to tell you again. Cuff up. Now, I couldn't see what was going on, but I could hear everything. All I heard was a lot of feet shuffling, a lot of grunting, a lot of bumping. After about 2 minutes of this going on, the noise kind of subsided. About a minute passed, then I see Nelson getting carried out. They done hog-tied Nelson and carried him on out to the hole. This was my first introduction to Nelson. I got plenty more stories about inmate Nelson. Let me know in the comments section if y'all want to hear more stories about Tutti Frutti Nelson. Until next time, y'all, I'm out.